All right, Tim Sykes here. Another crazy day in the books. Here is my new software, Stocks to Trade. Getting lots of questions. It is not for trading yet, okay? It is not a broker. It is just for level 2 charting, scanning, news. It basically replaces my eTrade Pro, which is what I previously used. And we're adding more and more features to this every day. Eventually, you will be able to trade with it. We're going to work with brokers and stuff like that. That is not ready yet, so stop asking. I know that it's confusing, but it takes time to build revolutionary software from scratch. XLIT is by far the play of the day. You know, in 2 days now, it's dropped from $1.20 to 34 cents. You might remember these tweeters saying, "Oh, you called us a pump in your new video. Enjoy the dislikes incoming." A lot of promoters have bashed me for exposing and ripping on XLIT. I wrote a whole blog post. This is back in January. And I said exposing the most blatant penny stock pump now. This is when the stock was at $1. And, you know, I go into the whole thing of why it's such a pump and why I like shorting pumps. And I've shorted it close to a dozen times now, made a few $1,000s. Wrote it a little bit today. I got short around 88 cents a share. And, you know, that's a nice drop. I covered too soon, as I usually do, but I love being able to show you that a stock can collapse 58% today in 1 day with no news. A lot of you guys don't realize it. Too many people get sucked into these things, and then when they drop 40, 50, 60% in a day, you're like, hey, what happened? Penny stocks are so random. No, they're not random. You're just a fucking idiot because you don't know that you're being marketed to by propaganda and promotion. And when you have a stock that's marketed like this, you can actually make money on the way down, as so many of my students did. I got to give props to Eric. He says he's up to already over half of his down payment on his new house. He's up over 4,000, and he made a few hundred on XLIT. Where was the one from G Copina? I don't know. I have too many tweets. G Copina is one of my trading challenge students. He's European. Gabor, I met him in my Madrid meetup, and he made 20% shorting XLIT. Several other people are still short from the 80s, where Interactive Brokers had shares to short. There were a lot of shares to short, and yesterday there were shares to short at $1. So don't tell me that there were no shares to short. The problem is most of you guys don't have the right broker. I know Interactive Brokers, the minimum is 10,000. Save up, okay? I'm sorry that they have that minimum. I don't make the rules, but save up. Do manual labor, okay? Work at a little store for a summer. It's not that crazy to make $10,000 in a few months. I know it takes time. I'm not saying go rob a liquor store and get $10,000 today. But I think that if you put your mind to it and you really work hard for a few weeks or a few months, you can save up $10,000 and open up an Interactive Brokers account. And I get no money whatsoever from Interactive Brokers accounts. They have the worst customer service in the world, but they do have shares to short of pumps like XLIT, and pumps like this do drop 40, 50, 60, 70% in a few days. If you actually go back and look at this blog post, I also highlighted my first millionaire student Michael Good's recent trades where he shorted the pump AREN at Interactive Brokers. He made 24,000. Another one of my students, Ivan, who was on the Steve Harvey show with me a few weeks ago, made 9,000 shorting the pump EURI, and then Michael Good also made 23,000 shorting EURI, all via Interactive Brokers. So, you know, learn what actually works. Learn from my millionaire students and I. A lot of people think, oh, you and Michael Good and Ivan, we're all good friends. Like, so if there's only you guys get shares to short, that's bullshit. Ivan, I've only met twice, as he actually said on the Steve Harvey show. And Michael Good was actually my first hater who thought that I was full of BS. Then he actually looked at what I was talking about and he saw that there was opportunity. Now he's up 1.6 million. But it all starts like this, you know, with Eric making 4,000. I think he made like 400 or 380 bucks on XLIT. All of my millionaire students and I make a few hundred or a few $1,000s at a time. That is the secret to our success. So I know I have my DVD is called How to Make Millions, my best-selling DVD. It all goes to charity. It's 35 hours long. Go to howtomakemillions.com if you want it. But it's not going to teach you how to make millions on one trade. The strategy is to make a few hundred there, a few thousand there. It adds up. Let me show you. Jorgen, he banked on HTBX, which is another crazy stock. He bought it at 188 and sold it at 214, and he's using stocks to trade. Let me show you how it actually ended up. It actually went all the way to nearly 250 later in the day. So it was pretty cool, but I'll show you where it came from. You know, came from nowhere. Okay. 80 cents all in one day, and the high this morning was 250, and then it kind of double topped at 250. But this is the kind of volatility that we have right now. BRKO is the craziest stock. Let me show you a 10-day chart on this. And, you know, this is a cool thing about stocks to trade. We have news plotted on here. You can take those little alerts off if you want. But this one is up. This is in just a few days up from $2 a share to 15, and it got halted by the SEC. This is a blatant pump also. And I actually said that this was a potential short squeeze right in here in the threes. And I know there's a lot of shorts trapped in it. I'm sorry to you guys, but just because a stock is a pump does not necessarily mean that it's going to drop. Perhaps you should watch my DVDs and my video lessons and not necessarily think that shorting penny stocks is so simple. A lot of people think, oh, Sykes, what you do is so stupid. You know, just find a scam and bet against it. It's so easy. Done. I don't have to watch anything. Well, there are some subtleties to it, as a lot of short sellers learned the hard way on BRKO. And I know a lot of people, not my students, but I know a lot of other people who don't necessarily study, and they're down, you know, 4, 5, 6 figures. And at least the SEC halted it, so it should drop quite a bit. But, you know, even if it drops to 3, all those shorts are just going to be break even. XLIT was a far better short, and it's amazing to me that so few people were talking about it. So that means either one of two things. Either one, you know, they don't realize that there are shares to short, like at Interactive Brokers. I know it's kind of weird to bet against a stock in the $1 range, but you can see, I guess you would call it the collapsibility. I'll make a DVD about that, how this stock can collapse very quick. Or two, you know, you're probably a part of it. As these tweeters prove, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And if you're not shorting these pumps when it's so logical and it's so obvious, and I've seen so many freaking examples, and I've taught this, I gotta believe you're a part of it. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if half of, you know, Twitter is involved in these pumps, because I get so many dislikes when I'm exposing a pump, and then when I'm not exposing a pump, all the dislikes disappear. So it's all the promoters and everyone who's working with the promoters trying to discredit me, and they don't even realize that they're helping me, because again, I'm overwhelmed by students. It's kind of the beauty of being real. So the promoters are actually helping me. If you don't believe me, if you're in doubt at all, don't learn from me. Okay? I don't want any students who are in doubt. I make it really simple. I only work with the most dedicated students. That's the benefit of being real. I get to choose my students. You know, for those of you out there, Tim, you should be nicer. You'd have so many more students. Fuck that. You don't want me to swear? Fuck you. I'm going to teach how I want to teach. And if you don't like it, then don't learn from me. That is why I enjoy my job. I get to do what I want and teach what I want. I'm here to change your life, but only if you have the right attitude. And I'm not just saying that, I actually mean it. Anyways, congrats to everybody else. You know, Jorgen, fantastic trade. Even if you sell too soon and you take, you know, a small piece of the move, that's fine. Okay? You're making money, you're learning. Those are two things that 99% of traders don't do. Most traders just want hot picks, and most traders lose. So if you can make money and learn and do better the next time and gradually grow your account, that's fantastic. Also got to give props to Omar. You know, he bought a few hundred shares of VTAI at 727, out at 763. And, you know, he made 140 bucks, and he has got the right attitude. Don't swing for the fences. Just try and make contact. Make a few $100. That's fantastic. Here is Double R. He made a few $1,000s on VTAI, made over 3,000. And I got to give props to Ike. He made 3,400 today, just past $100,000 in profits. Fantastic job, Ike. And then Tara, who just came to my Market Mastery the past 2 days, you know, she's a new challenge student, and she just made $10,000 in her first month, all thanks to CPXX. So milestones all around. I actually lost a few $100s today. It's not the end of the world. My small account is still up something like 60 or 70% so far in 2.5 months. So I'm showing you, even with my losses, it's okay. Build your account gradually, grow it over time, stay in the game. There's always going to be more and more plays. Look to go long on some, look to go short. Don't force trades. And if you're patient, like Tara and Ike and Eric and so many more students who are finally getting it, I'm really blessed. I know that I came off kind of like a dick earlier in this video where it's like, oh, I don't want to teach you. I do want to teach people with the right attitude. I just don't want to teach people with the wrong attitude. So if you, again, are offended by me or my grammar or my swearing or my Lamborghini or my Ferrari, then don't learn, okay? I post all this stuff for very specific reasons. If you look at my Instagram account, it's kind of obnoxious, right? Look at the Lamborghini and the money. This is me and Tara yesterday. There's a pool I was swimming in. Here's Malibu and this jet that I took and my Ferrari and some sushi and the sunset. It's inspirational photos and videos, because if you actually look at goal setting and performance theory and you look at people who have been, really just diligent in studying this field, you need big motivational photos and videos to really push you harder to your end goal. Like, people say, oh, this is obnoxious with your $1 million in cash. I want you to look at this cash. I want you to picture this being your hand touching this cash. I want you to have this $30,000 watch, okay? Once you start picturing big, you can walk yourself backwards, and start to say, oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is what I want. I want to get all this stuff, but how do I get there? Oh, it's not going to be through one stock pick, or, it's not going to be through any one lucky play. I have to learn a strategy. Okay, what strategy should I learn? Well, Tim has, 3,500 video lessons now. His millionaire students actually teach alongside him, so you're not just learning from me. Michael Good, Tim Grattani, Mark Crook, who just passed $500,000 in profits, they give weekly webinars. I'm really excited. By the way, you challenge students. Next Monday, Mark Crook is going to be giving a webinar specifically on options trading and how to use options along with my strategy. Because if you've noticed, those of you who have been my student for long enough, it's very easy to spot these pumps. It's very easy to see when they're actually, going to come down, but it's tough to find shares to short. So Mark Crook, he's definitely going to be a millionaire, but he just passed $500,000 in profits with me, and he made $3,000 live in front of everybody at the Market Mastery the other day. He uses options. So when there's no shares to short, sometimes there's puts available, and so he trades the options. And that's a fantastic new way of looking at my strategy. And that was part of the reason why I got into teaching in the first place, was to throw all my teachings out there, throw all my rules out there, lay it all out on the table, and see what other people would discover and, add on to the strategy. It's kind of like open source, and I'm not like Apple, I'm more like Android. And the cool thing is people are beginning to, learn what I do. Mark Crook is the one who actually categorized all of my video lessons. So if you guys on Profitly click on the different categories for the different video lessons, you have Mark Crook to thank for these, 25 or 30 categories. He watched all of my video lessons 3 times, and he specifically, chose the best categories to put everything in. But now he's taking my strategy to a new level, and that's fantastic. Tim Grattani saw the patterns that I taught, and he kind of adapted it to himself, and now he shorts, morning spikes, which is not me, but that's him. Michael Good, again, we all trade the same kind of stocks, but we trade it a little different. And that's the beauty of actually teaching something real, as opposed to just having a chat room where everyone gives alerts and it's just like buy whatever alert. For me, I don't mind if a student is going short when I'm going long a stock. We have different goals, different time horizons. And that's frankly why my educational business is the biggest in the entire stock trading community, and it's going to keep growing. And that's why I'm going to keep getting Steve Harvey, CNN, and Harvard talks and stuff like that when no one else gets anything, because I want to show you everything. So I hope that you're understanding this. I don't want you to be offended by $1 million. I want you to look at this photo and picture it in your hands if you work hard enough, if you learn my strategy, if you take the strategy and make it your own. And that's what it comes down to. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is possible. A few $100s there, a few $100,000 on some trades. You know, Michael Good, Tim Grattani, and I have all had six-figure profit days, but we never, ever started out that way. And most of my top students start with $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to their name. So understand it's a process, but I want to show you, you know, all of these various students doing well and different profit angles to have long and short. And you trading challenge students, I've got my weekly webinar tomorrow too. So be ready. We're going to do some live trading, I think. See you guys in the chat room.